notes today because we don't need them because there's breaking news all over the place. Hello, everybody. Hello, and thank you for joining tonight. What day is it? Oh, it's April 9th. I know this. You know why? I'm going to wait till they get on and announce the birthday. But we have news that broke just this afternoon, just 2 hours ago. And it is, I think, pretty shocking, pretty unprecedented. So we're going to talk about that. It has to do with Lebanon. I'm scrolling through my notes, and we're also going to talk about whether or not the Strait of Hormuz is open. We're going to talk about the 10 points that seem to be different depending on who is reading them or who wrote them. They're totally different. Yes, Daniel. Awesome. Daniel, we are going to say, you know what we're going to say right now? Happy birthday to who? To who? No, not Gong Gong. Happy birthday to my mom today, who is now on. Yes, Mimi, you got it. Happy birthday, Carol. I was going to say, what's the date today? And I'm like, oh, I know, because it's your birthday. Other than that, we don't know dates. Although maybe we'll start to get to know dates now because suddenly we are in a normal time and there's no war going on and who knows and whatever. Okay, so we got to start with Lebanon because this is breaking and shocking news. Wow, what was that? Okay. This is Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today saying, in light of Lebanon's repeated requests to begin direct negotiations with Israel, I instructed the cabinet yesterday to open direct negotiations with Lebanon as soon as possible. The negotiations will focus on the disarmament of Hezbollah and the establishment of peaceful relations between Israel and Lebanon. Israel appreciates the call made today by the Prime Minister of Lebanon to demilitarize Beirut. Unbelievable. I got to go to the I need to open up the Lebanese paper and see what's going on. I'm going to go to their website. And by the way, this is awesome. Terry says happy birthday also to my mom, to Carol. And also Lydia. Hi, Lydia. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Callie's here tonight. That's awesome. Okay. Very cool. Callie, I missed you, but it's all right. I mean, we're all crashing out early. Wait, so what am I've got to, no, I'm not crashing out early, but man, do I need to. And that is why Daniel did not go to school today. Okay. Let me go. I have to go to a Lebanese website because this is Israel saying they want this, they want that. But now let's see what the Lebanese are saying. So, and Lydia also says happy birthday, Mom, and hi to Sophia. This is awesome. It's like the Jerusalemites. Guys, let's check out what the Lebanese media is saying. Netanyahu says instructed cabinet to begin direct negotiations with Lebanon. Netanyahu said Thursday he ordered his cabinet to open direct talks with Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah and establish peace relations between the two countries. And then they just quote the same thing. Okay, so let me stop sharing because that was not a really big article, and maybe we'll find another one. So let me see now if they have a more in-depth article, because this is like, why is this big news? I'll just read it to you. There's not that much to it. Lebanon wants a ceasefire before starting any negotiations with Israel, a Lebanese government official told AFP on Thursday. Lebanon It's an unnamed official requested anonymity. The Lebanese official, meanwhile, told Al Jazeera that the negotiations will be direct and sponsored and guaranteed by the United States. Diplomatic sources told Al Jadid TV that international pressures following the bombing of Beirut pushed Israel to lower escalation in return for opening negotiations with Lebanon to reach an agreement and disarm Hezbollah. Now, an Israeli official told Israel's Channel 12 that there are no big Israeli expectations regarding the success of the negotiations with Lebanon. Then why are they making a big deal about this? So the Lebanese side is insisting on the initiative launched by President Aoun, which calls for a ceasefire before going to negotiations, a Lebanese official told MTV. All right, so this is not going to be a very straightforward issue because the Lebanese, though they may not love Hezbollah, they do not love Israel. Okay, there's definitely going to be issues there. They're not big fans of Israel. It's still an insult, to call somebody a Zionist. And so, so this is definitely, this is going to be a very long and complicated and drawn out, if it even comes to fruition, negotiation. Now, I just want to say, oh yeah, and I forgot that I can do this, guys. I totally forgot about my new high-tech thing where Lydia is also saying happy birthday to you, Mom. I can give it to you directly. Jen, hi from Tampa. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you're joining. I'm glad, despite not being in the same time zone, you can still join me. I heard Netanyahu say Masar umutan tachat esh. Okay, negotiations under fire. Okay. And right here, resistance groups will never disarm. Right. That obviously they don't plan. Hezbollah does not plan on disarming. They totally disagreed with that. So does Hamas. They also have said that they are not going to disarm, but the Lebanese government, the parliament voted, I think it was back in August, that they are going to demilitarize. Now, they didn't specifically say Hezbollah. I think they said that all groups that aren't the army are going to have to give up their arms. I think that's what was their way of not directing it at Hezbollah. But if this goes through, let's take it to an end, which is far in the future and probably far-fetched. But if Israel and Lebanon come to some sort of normalization agreement, I don't want to say peace because peace might be just pushing it too far, but a normalization agreement. First of all, number one, I'm going, Lebanese food is the best, right? No, but beyond that, all right, if they make an agreement, this is probably the biggest outcome of the war that just happened for 40 days, because it's a blow to Iran. It would mean that Israel, Lebanon together, and perhaps also the US, are all working to dismantle one of Iran's biggest proxy groups, if not the biggest proxy group. And if they do that, then Iran has lost its power, which on the border of Israel. Also, Hezbollah is a big group. I mean, this is, I think they had at some point, the estimate was 100,000 members. They also were extremely well armed, at least before the October 7, 2023 war started. They were estimated to have between 150,000 to 200,000 weapons like rockets, missiles, drones. And obviously they've used, maybe 10,000, tens of thousands, but it means they would still have a lot to fire. A few things though, they definitely, Israel has, even after the October 7th, during that whole war. And by the way, there was never a day since the ceasefire. I think that was in 2024, that they, in November 2024, that there was a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel, despite the fact that the rest of the war was still going on. But even though there was a ceasefire, there was not a day that Israel was still not militarily, active in Lebanon. Whether there were strikes, they did like a lot of targeted killings of operatives, or they struck. They were on the ground. They were very much in Lebanon and involved in Lebanon. So even the Gazans, after the ceasefire in Gaza was declared, there were still strikes all the time, and the Gazans were calling it like the Lebanon routine. Like, we've now entered the Lebanon pattern, which is there's a ceasefire, but Israel's still hitting on a daily basis, and they were still hitting on a daily basis. And now Israel says that it has taken out like a lot of weapons factor, like they're finding weapons. Even today, they announced that there was some tunnel that had weapons in the tunnel, and they blew that up. But even so, even to this day, they're finding things. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows what Hezbollah still has. What are their capabilities? Where they are located? So let's talk about what happened in Beirut, because many people are calling it a massacre. There are, I think the latest figure is 303 people were killed in, I think it was called Operation Eternal Darkness. And the Israelis are characterizing this operation as one of the biggest hits on Hezbollah that they have that the IDF has carried out since the pager operation, maybe even bigger than the pager operation. You guys remember the pagers in 2024? And in the summer of 2024, they somehow set off about 5,000, I think the number's like in the thousands, 5,000 pagers that were in the hands of Hezbollah operatives around Lebanon and maybe a few in other countries. So it was just this how on earth, like, intelligence operation that they were able to carry out. But they're saying that this might have been even more so of an accomplishment, because within 10 minutes, they hit 100 targets. Now, some of the targets were people, and some of the targets were military command centers. And the death toll is over 300 people now, according to the Lebanese Ministry of Health. Now, people are saying, like, what the heck? This is like right after the ceasefire. So Israel's warplanes are back from Iran. So it's like, oh, we got more to send to Lebanon. It felt like that, just sitting here like, wait a second, there's a ceasefire, but then they do like double, triple, whatever over there. But what, again, who knows, like, all the news that comes out, you're not really sure what can be confirmed in like right away. But some people are saying that this was planned for months. So I don't know why they waited for this. And also that the intelligence was somehow implying that these people had real-time trackers on them. And that's why they were able to catch them all at the same time in all of their locations. So how does that happen? I don't know. Again, we're, still waiting. The news is still coming out, and I'm sure most of it is highly classified. So up till now, I don't really know what to tell you, except that from Israel's point of view, this was this amazing operation. And then from Lebanon's point of view, this was a massacre of innocent people, and not just limited to, but including the capital, in several neighborhoods of Beirut, the capital city, and not just like, let's say, like the Dahian neighborhood, which is where Hezbollah is known to operate. It was like other neighborhoods as well. So just crazy. And then the fact that this news comes out, like we're still fresh off massacre, still trying to figure out what happened, and a lot of people are upset with what Israel did. And then it's like, oh, we're negotiating with Lebanon. So anyway, that's it's just like unbelievably significant news that I would like to, it should percolate a little bit more. But in the meantime, I definitely, want to, I've got my eye on this. Now, let me see. And I am, meanwhile, just scrolling through every time I see new things. Okay, so I've got something about Mojo. Okay. Hi, Marilyn. Hey, Marilyn, I want to thank you very much. I was like looking for your email and I'm like, how do I actually, unless Marilyn comes on, I just want to say thank you very much because Marilyn subscribed to my Substack, but with a gift. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That was awesome. And I just was like, how can I tell you unless I see you live? Because I haven't yet figured out how to find your email. So anyway, and happy birthday to Carol, my mom. Yes, this is awesome. So, okay, so now let's talk about what is going on let's stick with Lebanon. Okay, so Israel's still hitting whatever targets it can in Lebanon. Also, they have established a security corridor, like a zone, and they are not leaving right now. There's no retreating. They're staying in Lebanon. The military is staying in Lebanon, so that's going on. Now, Hezbollah, which did not fire anything for quite a couple hours yesterday, is now firing extremely consistently. So let's say what it has done is, first of all, the fact that the Israeli military is up to a certain point in Lebanon, it's shortened, it's taken a couple kilometers off of the ability of Hezbollah to fire. So most of their weapons are going to the very north of Israel, as opposed to reaching as far down as Nahariya and Akko and possibly Haifa. That was very rare in this round, but it looks like it has limited their capacity to get their range. It's limited their range of weapons, of strikes anyway. So that's one thing, but both are still very active. There's no ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon on both sides. So it's not just Hezbollah's firing, and it's not just Israel, but Israel, I mean, you could say started it, because they were doing the strikes, and I didn't see anything coming in from Hezbollah until well after Israel launched that Operation Eternal Darkness, which is just quite the name. So anyway, what is happening with the Strait of Hormuz? Because mind you, all of an entire civilization was going to get wiped out. Do you remember? Do you remember the quote? An entire civilization was going to get wiped out. But we made a ceasefire instead, and we have great negotiations, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. The threat was open the Strait of Hormuz now, you insane bastards. I think that's the direct quote from President Trump. And that was like, that has become the victory of the war, right? You're going to open the Strait of Hormuz, even though it was open before the war started, right? It was open, but it closed because of the war. Okay. Nobody seems to know if it's open. I think it's not. I think the morning reports that I read was that ships have not yet gone through. Iran wants to charge tolls for people going through. And here is a quote from Moshtaba Khamenei, the new Ayatollah, the son of Ali Khamenei, who we haven't seen. We've only seen statements, but we haven't seen him. And there are reports that he is incapacitated in an ICU in the city of Qom. But anyway, unconfirmed, right? And that's according to several intelligence agencies, et cetera, but nobody knows. He put out a statement, not recorded, or it was a written statement. Iran is the victor at this stage of the campaign. We will demand compensation for the damages of the war, and we will lead the management of the Strait of Hormuz into a new phase. So this is obviously going to be a sticking point. Iran is doubling down on the Strait of Hormuz and just saying that they are going to take charge of it. Now, that is not just Trump that would be against that. It's also the United Arab Emirates that has said that they are opposed to that this needs to be a free and open passageway. There is NATO that now has to get involved somehow or another. And NATO, when there was a quote earlier today, I think the head of NATO was asked, what's happening, and he said, I don't actually know. So it looks like nothing has yet happened with the Strait of Hormuz, and that is actually a big deal because they're going to negotiations over their two separate 10-point documents that apparently, like, somebody got this memo and somebody got that memo. It's like how do you I don't know how you make this stuff up, but somebody's got, Iran's got its original talking points that were outright rejected by the US like 3 months ago. But the US is like, oh no, but what they sent us is reasonable for we can work with that. But they're saying that what they sent you is that they keep nuclear, they can, they have uranium and can enrich anything they want. They control the strait, and you will pay for war damages. And so it's like, wait a second, you're like, who? There's no way that the US agreed to that, right? So anyway, so there's just two conflicting things out there. And I don't know, there was one report that said, and I don't know if this is it was like a social media report, so we can't say that we necessarily believe it, but where the guy wrote that Pakistan purposely gave them the wrong, or somehow either messed up or purposely, but gave the wrong document. And it's like, there's just no way. There's just no, I don't even know. Anyway, Pakistan, they're supposed to be there. I think they bumped it to Saturday. It was supposed to be tomorrow, and I think they bumped it to Saturday. And, oh, this is interesting. I don't know if this is true. Oh, it is. Well, look at that. They are, what was I just telling you about Hezbollah's range? The IDF is preparing for more fire from Lebanon this evening, and to longer range areas. There you go. We were just talking about that. Oh, Mike's here, and he is already posting. Let's see, the Marines and the 82nd Airborne are still in the area. Yes, nobody. Yeah, I mean, and Trump did say that we're keeping everybody in the area, so don't mess up. From the videos I saw, there have been some ships that got out with oil today. Okay. All right. That is very interesting. Okay. So I wonder who they were. Was it like their friends? They let their friends out or something? That's interesting. Jerry, sorry, joined most likely midway through your update. Nicole, is it true that Trump has withdrawn its support for Israel and withdrew his troops and aircrew? I have not heard that. In fact, JD Vance was also saying that Israel can, they support Israel to continue its war with Hezbollah. So Yeah, I don't know. Um, and I have not heard that he has withdrawn troops and aircrew. In fact, Mike is saying that the 82nd Airborne and others are still in the area, but I don't know 100%. So, I'm sure we'll find out soon. Hi, Cindy Lou. Thanks for joining. And Bernadette, happy birthday wishes to Carol. This is hilarious that we all get to cross greet everybody. This is fantastic. Awesome. Okay. So there's, um, a lot of, well, what's a lot? Like a dozen Israelis over the last 2 or 3 years have been arrested on charges of spying for Iran. And a lot of them are Azeri background, by the way. I just want to point that out. And even though they're Israeli, but they're from Azerbaijan originally, and somehow they are the ones. And so there was uh, a cell or a couple of people that were arrested today, and that they were supposed to assassinate Naftali Bennett, who was a prime minister a couple years ago. He's not in politics now, but he's coming back. The reason I'm reminded to tell you this is that the in a recent poll, the coalition, which is Netanyahu's coalition, would lose 2 seats in favor of Bennett and Eisenkot, Gadi Eisenkot. An overwhelming majority wants to continue fighting. Oh, and the other part is Israelis overwhelmingly want to continue fighting Hezbollah. So there's that. Okay, Callie says Hezbollah long range. Does that mean toward Jerusalem? Are we going to sleep tonight? Well, I would say that I mean, I'd be surprised if it's Jerusalem. I think they didn't say yet, and it's still breaking, but maybe like Nazareth, maybe the Galilee area, the lower Galilee instead of the upper Galilee. So I'm not sure. They didn't specify, but news continues to break as we even like, you can't sit for 2 seconds, right? Okay, so going back to the original breaking news, which I think is the story of the day, is that that Israel and Lebanon are going to open up negotiations. That they're going to open up direct negotiations. In the past, like when they worked on the maritime border, it was not direct negotiations. I think it was through U.S. Envoys. The U.S. will still be involved in this. I don't remember who from the U.S., but there's Michael Leiter. Is he the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. or vice? Yes, because Huckabee is the other way. Yeah, so he's the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. He's going to negotiate, and I think. I don't know who in Lebanon. I don't remember. Anyway, yeah. So we'll see. Who I don't remember the names. They put out the names, and now I don't remember them. But okay, so that is extremely critical news. I think so. So we'll definitely have to follow that and see what happens. Let's see. BBC reported that Lebanese officials said that Lebanon's officially is for to have negotiations, however, only on the conditions of a ceasefire. So they want Israel to stop directing its fire at Hezbollah, and then they will sit down and negotiate. So I don't know how we're going to play that. But then again, can I just say, of course they have to say that, because they have to say that. Like, they don't want to look like they're getting attacked, and they don't want to look like they're giving in to Israel. And it would put them in a worse position of negotiating. So, all right. So, Leanne Parsons, where are you located? I'm located in Jerusalem. I've been here for 20 something years. And yeah, where are you? And how did you even find me? That's awesome. So very cool. Thank you so much. Please feel free to follow and feel free to throw in your comments and questions. It's awesome. We're having, I think, for me personally, increasing fun, as the days go on, despite war and rumors of war. Jerry, stay safe, Nicole family. Got to go speaking at a meeting tonight regarding Israel and the war and how Christians can help. Stay safe and say hi. I will say hi to Daniel. Thank you very much. That was awesome. Jerry and I only knew each other on Facebook, and then we met in the old city of Jerusalem. Like, wait, are you Jerry? Are you Nicole? And my son Daniel was here, was with me, and we were at a concert. That was awesome. Janice says, when do the negotiations start with Hezbollah? No, Hezbollah is not negotiating. It's Lebanon, the actual government of Lebanon, which is what makes it, I think, even bigger news. Just the fact that Israel and Lebanon do not have diplomatic relations. They are considered enemy states. There's no open border. You can't go from Israel to Lebanon. You can go through Jordan and then use a different passport and go to Lebanon and then come back. But it's not easy and it's not necessarily safe. But like a lot of Armenians and Arabs do that. A lot of the Christians, the indigenous Christians here, like there aren't many in the Middle East. So there's a lot of cross-country engagements. Like I know two sisters from here, Armenian Christians, who met Lebanese Christian men. I think they're also Armenian. And so they were able to go, they actually moved there. And when they want to come visit, I don't know if they can bring their spouses, but they have to go to Jordan and then from Jordan to Jerusalem to see their family. So it's possible, it's doable, but it's not easy. It's long. It's it's a long ride, and you got to make sure you got your passports right and stuff like that. So. Leanne says okay. Leanne's from Ohio. Oh, and you found me through Callie. That's awesome. Thank you, Callie. And Marilyn, thank you again. And Janice says, okay, that's better. Yeah. So that they're negotiating with Lebanon. It's actually amazing. So I was preparing. I did this video this morning, which, by the way, if you watched it on YouTube, it got cut off. I do not like the YouTube video editor. And I somehow cut myself off at the end. And I'm like, I forgot to go fix it, of course, because by the time somebody pointed out to me that it was cut off, I was like, and then I drove home. Yeah, I forgot. It was like an hour later. So unfortunately, it got cut off. But on Instagram and Facebook, it was... it worked. Let me see if I can, maybe I'll show it to you guys, because it explains actually what I was saying. And it's like, it's me or me either way, right? And might as well be me that recorded it. Okay, so I'll do that. I'm just going to play this video. And hello to Cindy. Thank you for joining. Very awesome. All right, so I'm going to play a video of me in a video talking about what I found out this morning about Lebanon, which it was very interesting. And this is all from Lebanese media. I'm not I'm not using Israeli sources to find this out. And yes, let's just put this one up. Lebanese food is the best. Yes. And I wonder also how the Lebanese Armenians make Armenian food versus like the other, because by the way, Armenian food in Jerusalem is different than Armenian food, slightly different than Armenian food in Armenia. And Tony and I argue about who's got better lahmacun in Jerusalem or Armenia. So anyway, okay, so let's watch a video of myself talking about the situation in Lebanon. I'm not great at Instagram, but here we go. Let's see. Oh, see, there we go. There we go. I already missed it with the ceasefire was agreed to. Israel launched a massive wave of strikes across Lebanon. In just 10 minutes, they say that they hit around 100 targets in what they call Operation Eternal Darkness. Now, Israel's defense minister described it as the largest concentrated blow against Hezbollah since the pager operation in 2024. If you remember that, thousands of Hezbollah operatives that were holding pagers in their hands, all the pagers blew up at the same time across Lebanon and some other countries. Now, according to Israeli officials, hundreds of Hezbollah leaders were struck in these surprise attacks on command centers, military command centers across the country. Now, the airstrikes hit multiple areas, including neighborhoods in Beirut, without warning, and also not just the Hezbollah-populated neighborhood Dahia. Residents say they fear now they have nowhere to hide. The Israeli military acknowledged that many of the strikes were targeted inside civilian areas, and they accused Hezbollah of using civilians as human shields. Israel said they took steps to reduce harm to civilians, but we don't know the final casualty count. It is between 200 to 300, according to various reports. And we also don't know the breakdown between Hezbollah and innocent civilians who might have been killed. In case you didn't know, Hezbollah is Iran's main proxy group in Lebanon. They are deeply embedded in Lebanese society, in politics. Now, here is a key question. Were these strikes a violation of the ceasefire? Iran and Hezbollah say yes, and Israel and the U.S. say no. Now, since the start of the war, 1 million Lebanese residents have been displaced from southern Lebanon, from Shiite villages across the south where Hezbollah is based. But what is happening to these displaced people is creating new internal tension in Lebanon. Many civilians are becoming increasingly suspicious of them, worried that hosting people that might be connected to Hezbollah will make their own communities a target. They're even doing background checks on them, trying to determine whether displaced people have ties to Hezbollah, and in some cases they are forcing them out. And this is the complication. As Israeli pressure on Hezbollah increases, internal pressure is causing the shunning of many Shiite Muslims across Lebanon. What is happening in Lebanon? All right, pause. So that to me is very interesting that now other Lebanese people who are not Shia specifically, but also, not connected to Hezbollah, are saying, we don't want you here because clearly, like, you guys are a target, and you could also bring attacks in our neighborhoods. So, it's starting to go throughout Lebanese society. And Cindy, who says her grandfather is from Lebanon, I wonder what he would have to say about it. I know that Lebanon is very sectarian. There's just a lot of different religious groups and political groups, political parties, and but it seems that there is some sort of turning against Hezbollah at the moment. Like, they're doing background checks, or they're overcharging them and saying, you can't, they will charge like $5,000 for rent or something like that, something they know that the people can't afford, just in a way to get them out of or make sure that they don't live there. So it's interesting what's happening, and I don't have the full scope of it, but I'm trying to figure out as much as I can as I go along. Emily, that's so funny. So you should actually call Mimi on her birthday. So I'm glad you got to wish her happy birthday. For those of you who just joined, it's my mother's birthday, and so And she's actually listening right now. Oh, Cindy says her grandfather migrated from Syria to Lebanon and eventually to the U.S. a decade after the turn of the 20th century. He left the turmoil that's still going on over 100 years later. You did a podcast on this a year or so ago. Did I? That's awesome. I'm glad you remember. What did I talk about? Did I do one? That would be really cool. I mean, probably you tell me, I'll remember. But anyway, Stefan's got some updated news. I'm hearing that we are to keep on guard that Hezbollah could start firing between 10 to midnight. That's pretty soon. We got 13 minutes, but I think probably not get to Jerusalem. But that's interesting, isn't it? Did I interview somebody about it? I'm sure I did. I've interviewed very interesting people, but I can't place specifically. Oh, wait, about Syria? Because I've interviewed quite a few people about Syria. I interviewed Majid al-Shafia about the sex trade that is going on, that unbelievable. And also just the fact that the army, the current, what you call Syrian army, is actually all former rebels, and they're like connected to ISIS. And then there's a lot of also mercenaries like from other countries that just come in. But yeah, and Cindy, yeah, so this is the one. Okay. I had wanted to go back and review it because I couldn't remember who it was. So I think it was Majid al-Shafia. But also, and that was a great, that was like mind blowing, a lot of the information that he had. But a couple nights ago, I don't know if you were on, I talked about what's happening in Syria. I don't remember what day it was, and I don't know how you would dig through an hour broadcast to find that one part. Sorry. I should do something I should probably like break out the topics and put them in articles or something, or make them shorts or something. But there's stuff going on right now in Syria. There's a lot of anti-Israel protests going on. Now, this is with, Giuliani, the new leader there, who was making overtures, well, definitely to the West, but also in some ways toward Israel. And now his people are rampaging against Israel. Now, they said it was because Israel passed the, what do you call it? The death penalty for terrorist law, which they feel targets Palestinians specifically, and not like if there was like Jewish terrorism or whatever. Like, it's just, they feel like it's just a discriminatory law. And so that was like the impetus for them going out. But somebody said that's not why they're up in arms and enraged right now. There were other reasons. So I don't know. Anyway, I haven't seen anything more on it, so I'm not really sure. Let's see. Callie says, if Hezbollah reaches Jerusalem, does that mean we cancel the baseball game tomorrow? And do we all go back to Zoom on Sunday? I don't know. The question is, here's the deal. I don't know if Hezbollah can, in a sustained manner, reach Jerusalem. They might be able to launch like a couple, but I don't know if they can sustain hitting Jerusalem. So I think you'll probably still be able to have your baseball game. However, Sunday is like a year away. So don't get your hopes up about Zoom. Like that, your kids will probably be on Zoom. My kids have off because it's Orthodox Easter. So my kids, even though school went back today, my kids are on Easter break because they have off for every holiday known to man. They have off for Ramadan. They had off for Passover. They had off for the Catholic and Protestant Easter, and now they have off for the Orthodox Easter. But what does it matter? Because they're home anyway. So I didn't even care this year about all of the holidays they get because they were home anyway for at least 40 days. So it didn't matter for us that they had all of these holidays. So anyway, um, so here's why Sunday is a year away. We're supposed to see them meeting in Islamabad on Friday or Saturday. I think it's now moved to Saturday. And the Strait of Hormuz is not open, apparently, or not really open, or they want to control it. Clearly, there's no agreement on the 10 points because I think they're working from two different documents. And last but not least, Hezbollah and Israel continuing to fire at Lebanon. Iran is saying that they need to come to the rescue, the solidarity, the rescue of Hezbollah. And if Israel continues to fire on Hezbollah, then they're going to have to also, since the ceasefire is broken, because they consider that a breaking of the ceasefire, then they will start launching missiles again. So I think that would be the thing to worry about. I don't think we're worried about Hezbollah canceling things in Jerusalem. I think we're worried that Iran comes to Hezbollah's aid and begins launching. Now, who's still quiet is the Houthis. Where are they? What are they saying? Very interesting. Let's see. Nope, that was not a good headline. They had a headline and then they just popped off of it. So they're the same. It was the same headline before, though. The what do you call it? Preparing for fire from Hezbollah. Okay, Mike says, I'm sure they may be letting ships. If they fill up at Karg Island, they need to start making money again too. Okay, so all right, and you're the one who saw that they had, what do you call it? A couple ships went through. Okay, so we'll see about that. Houthis are with the blowfish. Yes, in the Strait of Bab el-Mandab, most likely, because that is the other strait on the other side. I can show you guys. I can show you on a map. The other side. By the way, it's so quiet here because Daniel is in the room and he's got an iPad, and my other two are out. One has basketball and one is with a friend. So, okay, so here's the Persian Gulf over here, or the Arabian Gulf and Iran, and then going down here. And we have talked about this, but again, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Okay, this is the Bab el-Mandab, the Strait of Bab el-Mandab. And the Houthis are right here in Sana'a in Yemen. And so the talk was that they would block this strait. And so there would be no, oh, wow, I just went too far out. There would be no exit for all of these countries here and all of these countries here. So the Houthis, of course, are like some kind of proxy of Iran. They're not technically, they're not the same as Hezbollah. They have a little bit more independence, or a little bit more of their own identity. So anyway, so that we have these two straits right here that would basically seal off all of those wealthy Gulf states and their oil. So Saudi Arabia was starting to get stuff through land, but they were probably going through the Red Sea, and then that's why the Houthis could stop them out there. So they were blocking them from the Persian Arabian Gulf, but then they were going to go through the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. But I think, the ultimate conspiracy right here is that go ahead, Houthis, block it, because if Saudi Arabia can go through here, they can go through Jordan, go to Israel, and go out to the Mediterranean Sea. Now, I'm sure somebody's thinking of that, right? So I don't know. All right. Let me see. Mike says at least two went out. Wait, sorry, Mary. Christy, did you notice the names of the two ships? Mike, did you? It was New Jersey and Daytona, both Greek owned. Interesting. Wait, Greece said something today. I hope I saved it. And speaking of Greek and Greece, Cindy's dad was Greek Orthodox. So you grow up with the best food in the world, Greek and Lebanese. All you needed was Italian. And it would have been like the trifecta of the trinity of holy foods, like the best food ever. Dad was over here in 1967. We were there in 73 before the war. Wow. Okay. That is awesome. So happy Easter to you, because it's, it's this weekend for us. Let me see where my notes are and if I can find really quickly about Greece. Oh no, it looks like I didn't save it. Oh wait. Oh no, it's 1920. Oh man, I don't have dang it. I there was they said something today and I was like, I don't know why it caught my eye, but now I do realize that there was a reason. Oh man, the UAE appears to be playing a role in the Israeli-led plan to disrupt Trump's ceasefire and is entering the war directly. That's interesting, but then nothing happened with that. Oh, the Greek prime minister. Why didn't that show up when I searched? Okay. The Greek prime minister said today it is unacceptable to charge for passage through the Strait of Hormuz as Iran has proposed, and this is a serious precedent. All right. So people are starting to pay attention and be very conscious of what is happening. So it's interesting that you say this about the Greek ships that passed. Maybe they're staying quiet because they don't want to end up like the IRGC leaders. Maybe. Who knows? And wow. Okay. So Cindy hit the trifecta of best food ever. For sure, because her husband is Italian, which I guess explains. So I was going to say your maiden name, I assume, is Greek. It sounds Greek. Mandravelis, maybe, is that Greek? And then Salotto is Italian, right? So there you go. That's amazing. Amazing. And yeah, the Houthis. I don't, so it's just interesting. I don't think the Houthis are, I know you were talking about the Houthis that want to end up like the IRGC leaders, but I was going to say, like, I don't know if they are necessarily like how much they care, but because they seem to do crazy. Anyway, they've been quiet lately. And you know what happens when you have a quiet baby in the house? You're like a toddler. A toddler that's quiet is a toddler that is getting into trouble. So that's kind of how I feel about the Houthis, and the fact that they're quiet. Actually, it has me more concerned than I think that. Like, I don't think they're worried as much as I think they're up to something. But what do I know? I don't know. I'm sure there's more. And the funny thing is, I have all of these. I sent a million notes to myself, and let me just peruse them. Talk amongst yourselves. I don't know. Is that a good idea? Somebody making a very good point. Who is running Iran, and with whom are the Americans conducting the talks? And I think they're saying it's Khalibaf, the Speaker of the Parliament. The UAE, yes, UAE is the UAE disrupting. Now the UAE is this is funny. Mike says, I escaped from my crib a lot. Yep. I've got 3 kids like that now, 3 out of 3 that all escaped from their cribs very early in life. The UAE, which we'll go back to the map, is, balancing. It's like a very very crazy balancing act for them between proximity to Iran and not really liking Iran or wanting Iran to have to be they wanted Iran to be weakened. The article's not published yet, but I wrote an article about how the Middle East can have this like new world order afterwards of um, that these Iran's attacks on these countries have basically pushed them to Israel, to the US, even Qatar. So look at this lineup right here, right across from Iran. You've got Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, of course, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Oman. And all of these countries were hit, and Iraq as well. But all of these countries right here were all hit by Iran. Look how close. And they absorbed 80% of the ballistic missiles, whereas Israel only had it was only like 17. It was 83-17. So they were really looking forward to more of a weakening of Iran. Iran can still pose a threat to them. And so you're going to hear a lot of diplomatic rhetoric now between these countries. And the UAE was really trying to, like, in their statement, they say, we support a ceasefire of the war that we wanted to avoid in the first place. Like, they're trying to make it very clear, like, we didn't want this. It was nothing to do with us. But they came under, because you can't, they've got Iran right across from them. So they have to be very careful of what they say, and also their own protection. So anyway, I think that's it. But this was great. And Cindy, I want to hear from, ask your family what they think of all this. I would love to hear if you still have ties over there, or people who, like, relatives who are interested in what's happening over there. I'd be interested to know. But anyway, in just a few minutes, we will find out. Oh no, it's already over. Wow. It should be, what do you call it? It's 10 o'clock. It's after 10 o'clock and nothing's happened yet. Oh, but wait. Kuwait is reporting that there's a drone attack targeting vital facilities right now. Okay, right now, Kuwait is under attack. So crazy. Oh, and reports in Iran of their air defense systems going on against, I'm sorry, I'm translating, against a drone. Like, their air defense systems are trying to shoot down a drone right now, or they were activated because of drone activity. Wow. So we are not, ceasefire doesn't mean end of the war. It just means, like, they're holding fire for a few days, and we don't really know where this is going. So, all right. Mike, the Shaw's son, are you saying, like, put a video out asking for the army to do something? You're the Shah. You're talking about Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince. Put out a video asking for the army in Iran to do something. Didn't he do that? Like, was that a couple days ago? And then his latest statement was I always said, and airstrikes can't change a regime. But either way, I did see that video. Yes, he's done it several times where Reza Pahlavi has made calls to the army to support the people, because the army is different from the IRGC and is different from the Ayatollahs. But, so far they're doing the will of the Ayatollahs, but there's a lot of, there's a decrease in morale, especially among the rank and file. So yeah. I think that's who you're talking about. Yes. Okay. I see you confirm that. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go and prepare for another round of who knows what, which may be nothing. And anyway, this has been great. It's been great hearing from you guys. Again, happy birthday to mom. And I hope you do something fun and eat some good food today. Um, and I hope we see you soon as well. Oh, Nicole says watching, and I'm about to end it, but thank you for joining. I've just been blabbing on for an hour. So if you want to go and watch it, um, you know, from the beginning or jump through it, feel free. But thank you so much. It's good to see you. But anyway, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining, and blessings to you as well, Cindy, and happy Easter. Tomorrow, I'm going to be in the Old City for Good Friday, for Orthodox Good Friday. So there's a chance I won't do a live. I will take video, but I may not do a live because the reception there is horrible, and also I'm going to be with the family, and I don't know how it's going to go. Just, because the Old City's just all opening now. So we'll see how it goes and what the police situation is, because it's always a little tense, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you so much for joining. We will be in touch. I will see you next time. We'll keep you updated on all of the craziness that we've got going on here. And thank you, Callie. Happy Orthodox Good Friday to all of you celebrating, Cindy and whoever else. All right. Ciao. And catch you next